Hello, aquarists. Today, my case number 36. In the nice background, you can see the rising sun coming up in Rio Grande do Norte in Brazil at the coast of Pipa. You see the ocean. It's another beautiful day where the sun rises. Working on fish diseases is something I do on a regular case, and well, this is a case that I present again on some goldfish. Yes, also goldfish is something I deal with. So let me share my screen and show you my PowerPoint on fish disease case number 36 on Ryukin goldfish. The Ryukin goldfish with skin flukes. Well, we know goldfish have very common cases with skin flukes. You see here the Ryukin swimming, and you see the stressed behavior, the shaky stressed behavior. Wait, what's the name of this kind of sign or symptom of this fish's swimming behavior? Well, it's hard to tell exactly. Everybody has a different description of it. But what was normal to observe is that this is not a normal behavior, and that's why you have to learn, understand the behavior of the fish you keep. And that will tell you with their body language what's happening. And my background as a biologist is ethology, the behavior of animals. And this teaches me that I have to listen to the behavior of the fish, because this body language tells me a lot of what's happening with this animal. And of course, it's easy to take skin scrapings and take a few scales of the fish or take some slime. You can see here on the scene a massive infection of skin flukes. The bubbles you see are not parasites, but those are air bubbles, which commonly are happening when you introduce a drop of water from the fish tank, and you apply that to your slide before you put it underneath the microscope. So some big air bubbles, but you see the hundreds of skin flukes. The problem with a skin fluke is it multiplies very fast because the babies are born out of the parent. They are hermaphroditic. That means they don't need males and females. And the babies are already inside the worms. So they reproduce very fast, particularly in certain conditions which are favorable for this kind of fluke infection. You also find some gill flukes. Gill flukes which can cause damage on the gills. So you can see, when you have a little bit of knowledge, a difference between a gill fluke and a skin fluke. And sometimes the skin flukes go inside the gills. When there are too many skin flukes on the skin, they start to move around and get into the skin. Or when there are a lot of gill flukes, they can go outside and get on the skin. So it doesn't matter here. In this case, it was very clear we had a very heavy skin fluke infection, a few gill flukes. When we examined the organs of the fish after an autopsy, we found here in the spleen a lot of MMC'S. MMC'S are melano macrophage centers, which are using macrophages as a defense to try to eat away bacteria or virus or a fungus. And you see this kind of darker areas of developing here and here. And later on, they can become tubercles. And most likely, in most cases, it's a bacterial infections. And also in the kidney, we see the same kind of melanомacrophage centers coming up, and here and here and here. And we see this quite common with fish which have heavy bacterial infections. And it's a kind of defense of the organs, which try to encapsulate the bacteria, but it's damaging the organ. It's limiting the function of the organ, and some healthy tissue is gone. So that can have an impact on the general health aspect of the fish. So we can get very weak. So what can we do here as a treatment for this Ryukin goldfish with the skin flukes? Well, like we see here, you can see here on the slide, inside you see already baby flukes inside the gill flukes. So I have explained this in my books on fish diseases, that they can reproduce very fast and that you have to take proper actions. And the first thing that actually you should take, avoid crowded conditions. because when the conditions are very crowded, the parasites can reproduce very fast and jump over from one fish to the other and have ideal conditions for the parasite to survive. And particularly when the water is dirty, is polluted, a lot of nutrients in the water, the fish are more stressed, more easy chances for the parasite to become more infectious. Regular water changes are very important here. Siphoning off the bottom, removing parasites by this physical action, creating healthy conditions in the water. Treat with salt, 3 to 5 grams. I tell that quite often. Using salt is a good treatment against a lot of parasitic infections. And use an anti-fluke medication, which you can obtain from your veterinarian or from your pet shop. Check, there are many different kinds you can get. Use an antibacterial medication at the same time, particularly when the fish already has badly damaged. It's depending on the condition of the fish. You should implement this kind of treatment, or after the treatment against the flukes, or already during. And that your examination of the pathology of the fish will tell you. In most of the cases, in my experience, I combine them at the same time. Only antibacterial for 48 hours. The fluke treatments might be longer, at least 1 week or 10 days, depending on the recommendations on the leaflet with the anti-fluke medications. I also recommend for the recovery and for the defense of the fish to apply food, or Dr. Bassleer Biofish food, garlic. We have a specific garlic that is freshly coated on the granulates. And don't feed any other food, and use only our biofish food with garlic for at least 20 days to have an active or positive result. So this was that case on fish diseases, and I have many more to come in the coming months, because I have about 2-3 cases each month I present on my Patreon. And on my YouTube channel, sometimes I do, but the Patreons are more happy and more lucky to have more chances to see my cases and my advice on how to diagnose and treat fish diseases. So I thank you for your attention. I wish you good luck with your fish care.